Our moderator, Xin Lu, who's from CGTN in China, and Marion Jansen, our Chief Economist at the International Trade Center. Could you give us a bit of a feeling, your perspectives, and the takeaways from the session?
Thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation. It's a very eye-opening experience for me because normally I'm not specializing on trade news, so to come here and hear all these jargons and all these technical terms is a little bit nerve-wracking. But what I can take away is, first of all, the kind of attention the world is giving to regional trade and regional trade integration. I think that is the theme of the time, and from what we talk about on a daily basis, China's role, China's solution, let's say, or China's proposal, I think it is very timely that we have these discussions. On the other hand, I also see that people have either a lack of understanding or misunderstanding even about the kind of future that China has proposed and its potential contribution. For instance, there are people who are not really sure what the Belt and Road Initiative is all about. Either on the surface, the name of it, people are not up to date that the name has been changed from One Belt, One Road to the Belt and Road Initiative, and what lies underneath that, because China has realized that you cannot just draw a route and want people to follow that. You need it to be an open, mutually consented initiative, so that people can cater to their needs and take from this initiative what they need and what they want. So that is one thing. The understanding of this initiative needs to be enhanced. And secondly, I can see, especially from a question from the audience member, about China's aggressive invasion of exports to other parts of the world. So maybe she is using a very strong term, but I think the sentiment is more or less shared by many people in today's world, that China is rising. So China is becoming very aggressive in almost all senses, in the military way, in a political way, when it comes to trade. I think the Chinese government, Chinese scholars, and we in the Chinese media do have a job to do there, to help them understand what is the Chinese intention, to draft policies that will help alleviate this kind of concerns. And if what they're talking about is really true, then to help, those exporters in other parts of the world to import to China, and for us in the media to do a better job of explaining what this is really about, and to showcase the debate like what we did today. So I think I'm going to take a lot away from me today from this discussion. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Marion, you've just launched the SME Competitiveness Outlook, regions, and the focus on regions, and that was the focus of the session. How did that tie together, and what were your takeaways from the session?
I think this session confirmed that we are in a period of important change. You mentioned one change in who are the trading powers, with China as a rising trading power. We see policy change, we are exposed to climate change, and definitely technological change that may end up being very disruptive, as one of the panelists said. So in this period of change, business is adjusting, and one of the important ways of adjusting that we see is that they focus on more stability, more safety, and as a consequence on regional structures. So they are strengthening their regional setups, and that was, I think, confirmed by many of the speakers. And also we saw, I think, a lot of initiatives being taken by the different representatives in order to make the best out of this. We heard a lot about the role of channeling finance, about facilitating investment. We heard about the role of standards and regulations that need to exist, but that should not be a barrier for trade. And also in that context, the role of regional institutions. We heard a lot about infrastructure as an important connector between countries within a region. So I think there's a lot of further food for thought that comes out of this discussion, and a lot of willingness among different actors to work on this. And maybe I would like to end with one particular region, Africa, that was pointed out in our report as a region where regional trade is underrepresented. And also that topic was picked up very lively in the discussion with with a lot of dynamism, a lot of real strong political will to take this issue up and to create change in that region. Apparently the region has no option. That was what one speaker said. We have to integrate, and what repeatedly came up, there is a lot of potential in Africa.
Thank you very much. And stay tuned. Our next session is going to be young entrepreneurs who are going to be pitching their finalists in a global contest. It'll be on our Facebook live stream.
Was it live? Interview?
I wasn't sure if it was live or interviewed and then. So it was live?
No, it's not. This is live. This was live. The next interview is now. No, it's okay. Finish.
Will be okay?
Yes.
Yes, you were. Okay.